What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the online Jami? This, of course, here is JamiroFan 2000 with another episode of JamiroFan Talks About. For the uninitiated in this recurring series here on my YouTube channel, this has been my discussion series looking at the past, present, and future of Jamiroquai, and now there are over 30 years of musical making. In this episode, it's going to be talking about the recent celebrations that Jamiroquai has been doing for the last 2 years, celebrating their 30th anniversary as a band and as a musical legacy. Now, many members of the Jami who are very active online might remember me reporting and seeing for themselves of several great examples of Jamiroquai celebrating their 30th anniversary as a band between 2021 and 2022, and of course here in 2023. Jamiroquai have been logistically doing some pretty cool celebrations to celebrate their 30th anniversary, and this episode of JamiroFan Talks About is going to be looking at posing this question to the members of the online Jami who have seen these celebrations, and basically just posing one question. Do you think Jamiroquai should have did more to celebrate their 30th anniversary as a band all around the world? Or do you think that you really enjoyed what they gave us for celebrations, even though it seemed like it was a little bit of a truncated, limited edition kind of celebration of their 30th anniversary as a band and their musical legacy? But some of the examples of some of the celebrations they did over the last 2 to 3 years were vinyl reissues. We had a lot of vinyl reissues from Jamiroquai, pretty much set in stone. The whole albumography of Jamiroquai finally making it to vinyl, which, according to some of the members of the band Jamiroquai, was something that they always wanted to see happen. They always wanted to have all the Jamiroquai albums finally make it onto some type of remastered wax, and we had that. We had a 25th anniversary edition of Traveling Without Moving in 2022 come out on 2 yellow vinyls. We had vinyl reissues of course, Dynamite. We had a vinyl debut of the Greatest Hits compilation, their final release for Jamiroquai on the Sony Music imprint of High Times on 2 marble green vinyls, and of course we had a awesome 30th anniversary vinyl reissue of Jamiroquai's first album, Mercy on Planet Earth, on 2 clear vinyls. So there were a lot of great vinyl opportunities for members of the Jami who finally own every one of the 8 predecessor Jamiroquai albums on vinyl. Now, a second event that a series of events, I should say, they did was pitchback playback, which was kind of a bit of an alien concept to people here in the West, but apparently it was very, very popular over the UK. And for the people in the Jami who don't know what pitchback playback is, it's basically where you go to an event and listen to a high-definition quality version of an album from a classic artist. Could be new, could be old, but you wear kind of like an eye blindfold and listen to a high-definition version of an album. Jamiroquai had hooked up with pitchback playback to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Traveling Without Moving, the 30th anniversary of A Mercy on Planet Earth, and those went off without a hitch and were pretty awesome. And they were not only mutually exclusive to the United Kingdom and England, they actually came to the United States. They had they had pitchback playback events over in Los Angeles and apparently New York. So that was kind of a cool new concept of appreciating albums and some of those pitchback playback events did feature a special prologue, or should I say monologue, by JK looking back at both of those albums from those different eras and his anecdotal thoughts about each one of those classic songs that he wrote with the band Jamiroquai. Another event that was recently done was, of course, a Tim's Twitter listening party where various members of the band Jamiroquai anecdotally gave their thoughts on specific Jamiroquai tracks from the album Traveling Without Moving. So that was kind of a cool event, at least on a social media basis on Twitter, which was really cool to get the thoughts from Derek McKenzie, Sola Pimbala, and JK on some of the production of some of the classic songs from Jamiroquai's 1996 album Traveling Without Moving. And of course, like I said, these events were kind of sporadic, but really did a good job to celebrate 30 years of Jamiroquai in the years of 2021 through 2023. Now we come to the question that pretty much is the precipice of this episode of JamiroFan Talks About. Do you think Jamiroquai should have did more? Do you think Jamiroquai should have did some tours or some type of live tours, even though they're in the thick of their 9th album session, studio sessions, which which I don't know the details yet on how far they're into the studio on the ninth album, but would have you on the Jami would have liked to see Jamiroquai go on the road doing like a greatest hits tour like they did during Rock Dust Lightstar and previous tours? I'm really interested in your feedback. Are you happy with what Jamiroquai did, just as I did example-wise, celebrating 30 years of Jamiroquai the last 2 to 3 years, or do you think Jamiroquai should have did more? I'm most interested in hearing your feedback on this very interesting topic, looking back at 30 years of Jamiroquai. Be sure to leave your comments down in the comments section of this YouTube video, down in the comments section down below, or be sure to leave your thoughts on this question on the subreddits of the online Jami, are Jamiroquai and are the Reddit Jami. I'm most interested in hearing all of your feedback. But as for me, as for all that I just talked about, what Jamiroquai did to celebrate 30 years, logistically, Jamiroquai is going to do what they can do. Now, I know I'm a hardcore old fan. I'm one of the old hardcore fans of the Jami, and I should expect more from Jamiroquai, at least from the labels that are in question, like Sony and Universal Music. But the band, the band's getting older. They're all going to do as much as they can do, and the management company's going to do as much as they could do. But I think they did a pretty good job celebrating 30 years of Jamiroquai's history now. The fanboy side of me would want them to go on a full-blown worldwide tour, playing every old song you can think of, looking back at 30 years of Jamiroquai. But logistically speaking, that is very, very hard to do, especially in a post-pandemic world where most of the world's economies are still recovering from nearly 2 years of standstill. This is also affecting the music industry. It's not just mutually affecting the major industries of the world, but it's affecting all of the world industries. So, I think they did the best they could do, but I'm sure, Jamiroquai can be doing some more stuff eventually down the road to celebrate their upcoming, in the future they could probably celebrate more anniversaries for their history, but I think they did a pretty good job. But like I said, I hope you enjoyed this episode of JamiroFan Talks About. Be sure to like it and subscribe. Be sure to ding the bell on your YouTube to stay up to date on all the latest new content coming from the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel as we roll into the dog days of spring and summer of 2023. And of course, we're going to be having Jamiroquai on tour starting in June, which is coming up in a few weeks' time. So I will be covering Jamiroquai's early part of their very limited European festival tour between June to September of 2023. So keep your eyes on both of the dual subreddits of the online Jami to stay up to date on all these pictures, videos, and accounts from all the members of the Jami when I can, where I can, as Jamiroquai starts their very limited European festival tour. I'm sure Jamiroquai are going to have some very lovely surprises coming up in this small limited tour, and hopefully as we go into the new year 2024, we will see Jamiroquai expand into a worldwide tour to support whatever Jamiroquai Album 9 materializes as. But as always, this is JamiroFan 2000. Thank you everybody for the support. I hope you enjoy the videos, and I'll be sure to see you again really soon with more Jamiroquai related videos here on the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel. Bye bye everybody, and take care.